Hello and welcome to another episode of the 3 on 3 Hoops Pod, the voice of 3 on 3 basketball and part of the 3 on 3 Hoops Nation, where our goal is to grow a community around the power of 3 on 3 basketball. My name is Kevin Roberts, and I'm joined as always by the one and only Coach Jay. What's going on, Coach?
Another day, another dollar, hopefully, for somebody if it's not me.
And today we are super excited because we have a very special guest joining us. She is the newest member of the 3 on 3 Hoops Nation community. And Coach, we just keep growing and growing this community. And we're honored to welcome our newest member to the show. One of the most highly certified coaches in Canada with over 30 years of elite coaching and leadership experience. She spent 8 years with Canada Basketball as a coach with the women's national team. She's represented Canada on the biggest stage at not one, but two Olympic Games in 1996 and 2016. And on top of that, she spent 20 years as a university head coach, earned her master's degree, earned her master's degree in coaching studies. And her research has been even published in the Sports Psychologist. Beyond the resume, she's now known as a mental toughness coach, helping athletes and their parents navigate emotional storms, face fear, self-doubt, and develop real tools to stay confident and resilient under pressure. And Coach Jay and I have been talking about confidence the past few episodes, so we thought this is the perfect way to wrap a bow around this subject. Welcome to the show, Coach Shawnee Harle, and welcome to the 3 on 3 Hoops Nation. We're glad to have you here with us.
Well, let's go, boys. And 3 on 3 Nation, here I am, excited to be part of it.
Awesome. All right, so Coach,
That's a great resume, by the way. I just before we hopped all the way in, I just want to give a shout out to that resume. That's a very, 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 very accomplished resume.
very impressive.
Very
Thank you for the
impressive.
compliment,
Yes.
guys. Thank you.
So we're just gonna get right into the conversation. And Coach, the way we normally do this, Coach Jay and I have our set of questions to ask you, and we're just gonna alternate asking you the questions, and we're just gonna let the conversation take us wherever it takes us. So,
It's great.
yeah. So I'll start. At the Olympics, you've shared that it wasn't skill or preparation that let your team down. It was managing emotions. Can you take us back to that moment and what you learned that changed how you coach?
You know, it's funny how this thing called sport works. You get to the biggest stage of your life, and you've been working your whole life for this, and the same with the athletes. And then you're there. And what I learned is that you can think that you're ready, and you may or may not be. And I truly thought we were ready. We were in the quarterfinals against a known opponent. We'd beat them already 2 or 3 times in the previous 18 months. And all we have to do is win that game, and then we're playing for a medal. And if I was betting on us, like, it was just, to me, I'm like, well, of course. And that's what makes sport great, isn't it? That
Yep.
you just never know when something else is going to happen. And on the biggest day, the biggest stage of our life, we were ready in, like 95% technical, tactical, fitness, talent, coaching. Like, we had so much going for us. And the one thing that we were not prepared for was the emotional storm. And, we were up, I think, 21-22 at half. And then you know how that story goes, right? The other teams goes on a run, and then
Yep.
all the things start happening. And before you know it, with 3 minutes to go, you're like, yeah. And what I learned about it was, if we don't prepare our athletes for these emotional storms, the best offense in the world isn't going to save them. Neither is the best defense or the best motivational speech in your timeout. and the storm hit. And what happened was fear sets in. That's something we never talk about in sport because it's an F word. And we started playing not to lose rather than playing to win. And long story short, we ended up losing by 5. And it was the one of the most devastating days of my entire life. And I think I cried for 2 or
Mhm.
3 days after. And then when I got home from that, I'm like, okay, what did that show me? What did I learn? What were the learnings? And I was like, we didn't have the tools that we needed to handle the emotional storms. And so I'm like, that's terrible. Biggest day, biggest stage of your life. And you don't have all the tools that you need in your toolbox. And so that's became my journey to become a different kind of coach, a mental toughness coach.
Coach, many athletes are told, fake it till you make it. And admittedly so, I've actually said this. But you teach the exact opposite, face it until you make it. What does that actually look like in practice?
2 F words again, isn't it? I have a series like F words are just my favorite thing. Oh, there's another one, favorite. One of my favorite things to talk about because I think they really hit where it matters. And that's what one of the things I learned at the Olympics is you can try and fake it all you want, but faking it doesn't make it go away. Right? That's what it's like. To me, it seems like, well, fake it till you make it means all of these awful things that you're feeling here, the nerves, the worry, the self-doubt, the disappointment, the lack of confidence, that if you just fake it, all of those things are going to go just magically disappear and
Yeah.
everything is going to be fine. That is not true. I believe that when we fake it, what we're actually doing is suppressing. And I really felt that at the Olympics. It's like, you can feel when the tide turns. You can feel when the momentum stops working in your favor, and you feel it in here. And it's
Yep.
that sick feeling, but we're not allowed to talk about it. Just get off the whiteboard and let's diagram up a play, and that'll fix that feeling. And it doesn't. That feeling is telling us something. What I teach now is the opposite of fake. Face. Why are we not giving athletes the tools to face those feelings? When that sick feeling comes in here and you're tight and it's just terrible, why are we not giving athletes tools to go, oh, there it is. Oh, yeah, right. There's those. Oh, those are nerves. Oh, yeah. Oh, geez, I'm worried. Oh, that's pressure. And then go, oh, good thing I know what to do about it. Because we're not allowed to talk about it when these feelings come. We just say, just fake it, avoid it, and suppress it. What you resist persists.
Oh,
Like that.
nice. I love it.
Yeah,
I
like that.
love the passion in your voice when you're talking about all this stuff. It's,
Yeah.
it's very contagious. So,
When she was talking right there, I visualized myself as a team just being in a timeout in a crunch time situation and like,
mhm,
oh man, the pressure's on, don't mess up. And like she said, like nobody ever talks about, hey, how you feeling right now? It just
mhm.
goes straight to make sure you box out on defense, get the rebound, get the rebound. It's just all basketball stuff. And sometimes you have to kids know or players know the situation. They know where they are, but sometimes you have to break it down to just, okay, we know that we're in a game, but how are you feeling? Like go back to that little kid when you were, at youth basketball at that level. Like how are you feeling? Because like you said, cuz when we spoke offline, you have to make sure that you're feeling okay in order to perform at your best, to maximize your performance. And you can't really do that if you're not feeling it within. So yeah, I like that.
No, it's good. And in order to, to face it, like you said, that comes with, you have to be able to recognize it also. So,
Yeah.
what are some subtle signs that coaches or parents should watch for that a player is actually starting to lose their confidence?
don't you, I mean, in so many ways, I think it's completely obvious. Like, it's not like athletes are good at hiding it, right? It's not like, "Oh, wow, I didn't even notice that." I'm like, "Yes, you did." Coaches, we notice it. We notice nonverbal body language. When they start playing it safe, they turn down open shots, right? They're late on a rotation, whatever it happens to be. We know this. We know what fear looks like. There's another F word, or we don't call it fear. We call it nerves. We call it pressure. To me, those are all words for fear. We know what fear looks like. And as athletes, we know what it feels like. But then athletes are feeling it and they're like, I'm not allowed to talk about it and I'm not allowed to ask for help about it. So let me just pretend I don't have it. Meanwhile, the parents are watching their kid and they're like, come on, just be confident, because they can see their kid not. And then coaches are giving technical information. Come on, you just got to box out harder. So we never address what's really going on. So back to your question, and you said something really important. What I teach is I want athletes to be great noticers. Just notice. What am I feeling? What am I thinking? Notice. And I have a 3-step formula that I teach. And all your listeners, feel free to use this. Step 1 is WAIT. WAIT. It's an acronym. But what I love about it, it's wait, like pause, take a breath, and notice, what am I thinking? Wait, what am I thinking? And that helps us come right here. It's like, what's going on? Here's another way of saying it. What's going on with me right now? Coaches, this would be really good for them too. Wait.
Yeah.
And then we say, oh my gosh, I'm worried about losing. Or oh my gosh, that's my 4th foul. Or, wow, I'm getting ready to go to the free throw line with 3 seconds left and we're down 1. Like, all we do is we just notice, oh, this is what I'm thinking. And we speak the truth. We speak the truth about what we're thinking. Step 2 is shift. I love this part, man. I love this stuff so much. And I didn't know any of it when I needed it the most. Step 2 is shift. So remember I said, tell the truth about what you're thinking. And then the shift is, what else could be true? Here's the truth in wait. Oh my gosh, I'm worried about losing. What else could be true? Well, we might not lose. I'm worried about missing my free throws. Well, you know what? The other truth is, I could make these free throws. What else is the truth? You know what? I've been putting time in my free throws. I've been preparing for this moment. We might lose. You know what? We might lose. And I know how to handle it. Like, we just go and we speak into another truth. So that's shift. And here's what I tell athletes. You're going to know if you pick the right shift because that sick feeling in here is going to shift. It'll go from feeling like a 10 out of 10 of awfulness, and you be able to drop it down to like a 7 or a 6. If the feeling doesn't shift, you didn't pick the right words. You didn't pick the right truth. And then step 3. So wait, shift, choose. We now have to go from thought to action. So choose a courageous action that makes a difference. So if I'm going to the free throw line with 3 seconds left, I already did my shift. What would be a courageous action? Would be, you know what? I'm just going to dial right in on my bullseye. And my bullseye is the middle of the back of the rim. Another choose could be, you know what? I'm just going to get right into my routine and I'm going to make sure I take deep breaths before I begin. So we choose an action, a courageous action that makes a difference, has a chance to make a difference to the desired outcome. Wait, shift, choose. Think about in basketball how we could use this on the bench because we have lots of time when athletes are sitting there, especially when they mess up and then we sub them out because they messed up. And then we tell them, you just got to hustle harder. You got to box out better. And then they go sit on the bench. What if we taught them wait, shift, choose?
Love that. Wish I
I'm
had
gonna
that on my
implement
team.
some of this stuff. Like I'm learning so much right now. I feel
Yeah,
like I'm
yeah.
in a college course. This is real good stuff. This is real good stuff. Coach, why do you believe parents need to be a part of building mental toughness? And what's one common mistake you see them make?
Coach asked me,
I call these helicopter parents, by the way.
Oh man.
Coach asked me the first part again
Why do you believe parents need to be a part of building mental toughness in their athletes?
because athletes are a reflection of their parents.
I'm
Mm.
I
So,
gotta make sure
Oof.
my kid. I gotta make sure my son listens
Oof.
to this.
but
Ouch.
but think about it. How much influence as parents do we have over our kids? Like we think, oh, they don't listen. Oh, trust me.
They hear
They
everything you
hear
say.
everything you say, even when they're going la 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 la, I can't hear you. Yes, they can. Not only do they hear you, they feel you. They feel your energy. They feel your nonverbal body language. They feel your nerves. They feel your fear. They feel your worry. And so when I work with an athlete, I tell the parents, you can't sign your athlete to work with me unless at least one parent comes in as well. Because it takes a village and this thing we're doing is really hard and we don't have any training in it. Parents are doing the best that they can. They don't have training. Coaches don't have training in this either. So I get to help parents say, if you have more mental toughness, if I help you have more mental toughness tools, think about how more equipped you are to help your athlete when they get stuck in that emotional storm. And here's the truth for parents. You cannot help your athlete handle those emotional storms. You cannot help your athlete handle and manage their fears until you have first managed and handled your own. And that's the very first thing I ask parents when I'm working with them. What's your deepest fear? When you watch your athlete out there playing, what's your deepest fear? And as soon as I know what that is, I'm like, boom, there we go. And that's where we begin our journey.
I love that line.
Yeah.
Players are products of their parents. It's like it's so simple, you know what I'm saying? It makes so much sense that I wish I would have used that when I was coaching. So
Well, and yeah, I mean, it makes perfect sense because I know me, especially coaching the high school kids. When you see like kids acting a certain way, like one of the things I wonder what's going on at home. Like you can't help to think about that sometimes, you know. So yeah, it makes perfect sense for sure.
and a lot of times I know my pastor always he uses this line, if you can't say amen, say ouch. And that was one of those definitely one of those those ouch moments. So coach, you talked about this emotional storm, and talked about what parents can do, but after a mistake or high pressure moment, what's one quick tool that athletes can use right then and there to calm themselves down?
Well, I have one for you, but before I give it to you, I really have to give context because
Mhm.
this is what I've learned in my coaching. I can coach an athlete up to the nth degree and they are just ready to go and, be world beaters. And all it takes is for them to go into the gym and the coach to say one thing that's pokey, that's hurtful, that's aggressive, that's toxic, whatever it is. And all of the coaching that I've done over here, it's done. And it's the same with parents. And you're asking about mistakes, and I am going to give you my favorite mental toughness tool, but I'm going to say this. It'll work, but not if coaches and parents have taught their athletes that mistakes are bad, mistakes are wrong, and you should do everything in your power to avoid them. That will counter this tool that I'm going to give you. And so what I believe is that we need to change our coaching culture. We need to say, you know what? If you want to grow and you want to get better, mistakes are required. And we do not punish mistakes on this team. And parents, we do not punish mistakes on the car ride home. Mistakes
Yeah.
are growth opportunities. So that's the first part. All right, here's the mental toughness tool. Oh, I have to give I have to give this part too. Okay,
No,
just a
go
second.
ahead. You're
Okay, if
fine.
you think
I
about
love
what
it.
happens, a mistake is made, and you're asked me, what should an athlete do? And what that makes me think is, well, what are they doing? What's the behavior we're trying to change? We're trying to change, oh my goodness, I missed an open shot. Oh, I suck. I'm so useless. Oh, I can't believe I just did that. So we're trying to change the negative self-talk. We're trying to change the emotional reaction to a mistake. But if you think about what's underlying all of that, it's judgment. We have an emotional reaction because someone has taught us the mistake is bad or wrong. And so then we go, well, I must be bad or wrong, and I suck. So what I teach is, how do we help our athletes move from emotional to rational? Because we cannot solve rational problems with an emotional mind. So what I teach is this: the opposite of judgment, because that's what they're in. So is the coach and so are the parents. We're all judging the mistake. Judgment is jail. Forgiveness is freedom. 2 more F words. It's as simple. Simple always means it's not easy. So how do we forgive? How do we forgive? 2 words. That's okay. I didn't say you had to like it. So we move from judgment to forgiveness. That's okay. And then I teach athletes this. Tell you that's okay. And then coach yourself. Oh, I just missed that shot. That's okay. Next time, use the backboard. Ah, geez, they got an offensive rebound. That's okay. Make contact sooner next time. Every single athlete I work with, I tell them, if I was at your game and you made a mistake and I blew the whistle from the stands and I ran down and I jumped in and I stood right in front of you and I said, what would you do to coach yourself right now to fix that mistake? They know. Do they know as much as a coach? No, but who cares? Who cares? We're trying to teach them to be independent thinkers and problem solvers. So we move from judgment to forgiveness. That's okay. Coach yourself. That's okay. Coach yourself. That's how we bounce back from mistakes. We respond instead of react.
I like that.
Definitely. Definitely. Coach, can you share an example of how mental toughness tools carry over beyond basketball?
Yes, because it's so interesting, because when I sit back and after I've talked to a client or I've worked with a team or whatever, and I sit back and I think to myself, okay, so what difference did I make, or did I make a difference? And what I always go to is, what is it that I'm really teaching? And if I dig underneath, we call it mental toughness. We call this thing over here sports psychology, whatever it is. But what I think I'm really teaching, and what is most important to me, is emotional intelligence. That means it's the ability to acknowledge, manage, and understand our thoughts and our feelings. I'm just using sport as the context. Imagine if we could take these same tools, weight, shift, choose, forgive, that's okay, give a coaching tip, and we took it and to them as students and they didn't do very well, say on an exam. and we teach them emotional intelligence because we're talking about how do we handle failure? How do we handle it when things don't go the way we want, when we don't get what we want? We're using sport in this podcast, but that happens in school, it happens at work, and it happens in relationships because that is life. These tools are life tools and sport tools.
No, I mean, I'm definitely being
Agree.
coached right now. So
Yeah.
I know like you see all this stuff. Like I'm just thinking about how I apply it to my life currently as an adult. And not only do I wish I had all these tools when I was a player or even coaching, these are I'm just thinking about how I'm applying this, like everything that you're saying, I'm thinking about how I'm applying it to my own life. So
And it's stuff that you
that's why
can
I love
apply
sports so
right
much.
away. Yeah.
Hmm. There's a lot of mindset stuff. So that's perfect.